I'm on my way to Oregon this weekend to go help coach at the Dirtastic main event, and on the way I needed to stop at Corey's at Ride Suspension to get the suspension on the X Pro just taken care of. We've talked about it in a couple of other videos, and we'll talk about it some more in this video, but it definitely needed some work. And on the way up there, the drive was moody. This is this beautiful pass between Redding and Wairika, California. It is just so incredible. The rest of the drive was boring, super boring. I felt like I was in a prairie, but we are not in Southern California anymore. Now that we've gone through the woods, it's time to go over the bridge. To Corey's house we go. If you've never met Corey before, let me tell you, he really enjoys his background music. So for the rest of this video, please enjoy the nice, soothing elevator music sounds of Tool. The camera failed, so you have to reintroduce yourself.
Okay. Hi.
Hi! Ride Suspension. Corey, what's the shindig here? What are we doing? What's happening?
We will be revalving and respringing your bike for you. So it'll be 100% set up for your ride style and how much you weigh.
Nice. When we were riding it, and I especially noticed it yesterday, because yesterday I went on a faster trail ride instead of hard enduro like I normally do. But Nick likes to call it mid-stroke harshness, or front end is deflecting a lot, like a lot. What do you think?
I'm gonna guess it's your mid valve. Either they have the super heavy float like KTM does on the Explorers, or on the fast stuff it seems twitchy and floaty. So we're gonna go in there, we're gonna check all that, adjust it to where we need, and it could just need a crossover in there too, because it could be a straight rate valving. Instead of a stock linear curve, we're gonna kind of make it more progressive for you.
I feel like it's a lot of slap. Like you hit something, it absorbs nice, and then it like pogos back. It'll slap back really hard.
Yeah, so that sounds like rebound, which is something we'll go in there and check. And you may have a check valve that we may have to adjust and stuff like that. But yeah, we're gonna go through the full thing and go from there.
What do you think about the Sachs? Have you dug into these forks yet? Is this the first set you're working on?
This is the second set. This will be the first I have tuned on the new 25X Pro. We have all the tooling and we're gonna get going on it.
Cool. Let's see what we can find out about these things.
Yeah.
I did not come to my suspension appointment the most prepared that I've ever been for suspension appointments. Usually I have them off the bike and cleaned, but since I'm on a multi-mission trip, I actually stopped for a ride the day before I was getting my suspension done on the way up to Corey's, on the way up to Oregon. So suspension was a little muddy, but Corey doesn't mind. He helped me tear down into it and even showed me a different way to take my rear shock out, which was awesome. And here we are. I missed the important part. What does it look like in there? What's the status report?
It's dirty. I mean, they're normally dirty. So you're talking about how your forks were twitchy at high speeds and just didn't feel planted, right?
Yep.
So mid valve is where I go to because the same problems with KTM's on like their Explore forks. So this is what's called float, how much the valve opens up before it actually does it. So that's a huge float with very soft valving. So I normally do is I tighten the float up to be about 0.25 to 0.3 millimeters. That alone changes the whole characteristics of the fork, and they match with a proper revalve for the compression. It changes everything where it becomes a lot more planted for your slow and fast speed stuff, where you don't have to worry about it getting twitchy, and especially with your doing races and stuff. So that's what we're going to be adjusting. We're going to be adjusting mid valve and adjusting base valve to fit your riding style a little bit better and go from there.
Ride suspension, full service for your bike. What did you think I was going to say, Corey?
I feel like with the mustache, this is going to go the wrong way. The grease they normally use from factory, it's not waterproof.
Interesting.
So put waterproof grease in there. And so you can go longer between intervals. See how it's polished?
Yeah.
From rubbing, that's lack of grease rubbing on your bearings.
The more you know.
The well-greased linkage helps your suspension work like it's supposed to. Your forks are single-function forks, so one side controls your compression and rebound, your other side controls your springs. Normally with valving, especially on enduro bikes and stuff like that, normally your shims are doubled. So you have two of each shim in the stack beside your bleed and crossover, just to make it so it's a little more balanced. I'm going to do some calculating, and I think we're going to go that route. We're not going to go super heavy, but we're going to make it a little bit more balanced in the front to handle the stuff you needed to handle, because it's super soft. These are 0.1 millimeters all the way down, and only one first stage shim, and then it goes to your crossover and then the rest of the stack. So we're gonna fix these.
What were our findings? Let's summarize the day. Cool. And now we're setting sag. What are we going for sag?
I run anywhere between 105 and 110 millimeters without gear. That way, depending on gear and pack and everything, you're around 110, 115. Especially for trail and enduro riding, that helps keep the back end squatting where it needs to squat. If you were to be doing other stuff, we would go on the stiffer side of it. But 105 is about where we're going to be, and then go from there.
Cool. No, I'm not going to tell you exactly what we did to the forks and the shock. I did clue you into a lot of the things that we saw coming out of the stock Sachs suspension on the X Pro, but I think Corey deserves credit and time for all of the effort that he's put in working with both Nick and I on testing and tuning suspensions of various different bikes and making specific adjustments for hard enduro. I don't really know any other suspension people who are so dedicated to hard enduro suspension specifically. I know a lot of suspension guys that dabble in hard enduro, but Corey's main focus is hard enduro. He really wants to work with hard enduro riders, and we've been helping him with that. And I really think that he deserves the credit for being able to tune these types of bikes. So if you want to get into hard enduro or enduro and you want to support this channel, please reach out to Corey from Ride Suspension. You can ship him your suspension. He has a wickedly fast turnaround. You can even see some of the older videos when we worked with him previously on this channel as well. But enough of that. It's time to go test the suspension, see if it actually worked or not, and get to go ride in this killer property up in Jacksonville, Oregon. I arrived about 3 days early for the main event to meet up with Cassie and Julie to go ride, and then there's the Rich Larson clinic after that, and then we had the big main event. So this video is really just going to focus on the little in-between moments that I got to ride and test the suspension and less of all of the other crazy stuff. Kind of keep it a little more focused for you. But it was raining all day, so Julie had us doing these exercises to try and get warmed up for our ride. And then, of course, Cassie and I started eyeing up the very first hill climb we saw. Turns out it was a AA hill climb, but we didn't let that stop us. And don't let this video fool you right here. This hill was pretty freaking steep, and it was so slimy. It's like you have so much traction in the dirt. It's all loamy and fluffy, but then underneath of it is a bunch of hard-packed clay, and it's just so slick. It's crazy. Once you start going, there's no stopping.
All right, I'm just gonna go up and go
Dirt surfing.
around.
Nice. You!
That is super pretty.
I told the ladies they were on camera and that they should do something for YouTube, and this was their response.
Why? I'm not cool on demand. Vogue.
We got back, my hair got snagged on a branch or two, and I was like, I'm so sick of all of this hair, and Julie just pulled out some shears and said, I'll cut it for you. We ended up taking 9 inches off, and honestly, I felt like I should be getting a tattoo in some back alley parlor, but it turned out pretty dang good. Thanks, Julie. So then Caitlin told me about some logs that I should go hit, and as I was over there, I saw Rich Larson trying to do some filming, and he asked me if I would hold the camera, and of course, the very first thing I do is fall flat on my face. So here's a straight view of what actually happened. This was not the only time I fell flat on my face, but at least we both got some highly good entertainment out of the situation. So Rich was working on a video about different drills that you can do in ruts to help increase your control. And as I was watching him do these different drills, I was like, man, I really want to try some of those. So in my free time throughout the weekend, I gave a couple of them a shot. Some of them I could do really easy, other ones I couldn't do at all. And Rich actually came over while I was practicing and gave me a different homework assignment, which I'm really grateful for, and he even spent a little bit of time filming for me. Right now, what he's having me do is start with one foot on the ground, and as I pick the front end up and swing it over, I put both feet on the pegs and then put the opposite foot on the ground on the other side. Let me tell you, it's way harder than it looks. There's a lot of coordination, not only in the body position, but the clutch and throttle and the timing of everything. There's so much that goes into this that it's too much to unpack, honestly. But enjoy this quick little progression here.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, see, that's way better. Yeah, see that?
This was so crazy to me because Nick has been trying to get me to do this for a while on a hillside, and it's funny because I would have never thought to try it in a rut where I could touch the ground. But in that same aspect, I remember Rich showed it to me and I laughed. I was like, I'll try it, but I don't. I didn't say out loud, I don't think I can do it, but I definitely thought it and had to stop myself from thinking it because we have new rules around here of negative self-talk and saying things like I can't, I don't, things like that, because they just limit us. So I definitely said, I'll give it a shot. And here we are. I think it only took me about 6 run-throughs of this rut. And Rich Larson was like, yeah, you're getting it, which is so cool. So then during the Rich Larson clinic, he actually left to take a phone call, and Bailey was playing around on this balance beam, and I was looking at him like, man, I really think I can do that. So I lined up to hit it, and sure enough, the second I got my front tire on that log, Rich comes around from the other corner, and honestly, I felt like a kid that was busted for dinking around in the back of class. Like, it was so embarrassing. But I made it. And then after that, I got to play around a little bit with Melly Murray. She raced on the ISDE Canadian team a couple years ago, and she showed me how to hit this road gap. Man, I was scared. Hill climbs are not my strong suit, but she like progressed me up to it, and it was such a good feeling to hit it. The first run was way better, but the second one's the only one on camera. And we ended up having a couple of trials and tribulations out on the trail, but nothing a classically trained landscaper couldn't handle like Melly. And we got to go exploring a little bit, led a group ride, and we found this hill, which if you watched my very first Fungi Reality TV episode with Corey at Ride Suspension, you'll know that this hill is my nemesis. And I'm so happy that I got to go back, I got to hit it again, and I actually made it. Oh, I was so jazzed. This was such a good feeling right on the first go. Melly gave it a shot. She got some mad air off of this hill climb, and the two of us really just fed off of each other for the whole day, just kind of sessioning some hill climbs and challenging each other as we went. And I gotta tell you, this whole video is dedicated towards suspension, and when I first got the suspension back, I found it to be a little dead. I was having a really hard time lifting my front end. I was having a really hard time riding some of the faster stuff, and Cassie told me to adjust my rebound clickers by 4 clicks, tighten it up a little bit, and man, did it make a world of difference. So much better. And ultimately, that's it for this video. Once I adjusted my rebound clickers a little bit, I'm obsessed. I'm in love. I hit K-rails, I did balance beams, I got to do fast flowy stuff, slow techie stuff, hill climbs, descents, all of it, and it handled it like a dream. So if you liked this video, please make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. It helps keep me motivated to make more Fungi Reality TV, and I'll see you on the next one.